U.S. Congressman claims the Bible has a pretty clear evidence of UFOs and the Vatican knows aliens are here. And I assume that they're referring to Ezekiel's dream. Now, the unidentified aerial phenomena, what we call UFOs, is not what many think it is. The reality of UAPs goes beyond mere flying machines and space aliens. It's turning into a rabbit hole. Every year, UFO enthusiasts and whistleblowers are giving more effort into unveiling the secrecy, but instead of revealing truth, a new branch of mystery unfolds. So there's another chapter added to the UFO enigma. Missouri Republican Eric Burleson attended a classified UAP briefing recently, but mentioned that it did not change his beliefs. He said, "There's nothing that's been said that's changed my worldview." He also added he believes the claims of people who testified in public, but thinks there might be more to the story. Burleson said that UFOs might be angels sent by God, who he's heard secret information about UFOs, shared his idea on that UFO podcast, and he said, they may not fit exactly the biblical narrative, but whenever I use the term angels, to me, it's synonymous with an extraterrestrial being, he says. In a podcast, Burleson shared his thoughts on UFOs, offering detailed perspective on various theories concerning unidentified phenomena, and he discussed a theory he read in public reported by UFO whistleblower David Grush, who alleged that the government secretly recovered alien spacecraft and even dead pilots of these craft inside them. According to Grush's report, one theory suggests that what we're encountering might be beings that exist in higher dimensions beyond our normal understanding of space and time. He also used the analogy of living on a two-dimensional surface being encountered by a three-dimensional object to explain the idea of encountering something from a higher dimension. He suggests that we live in a three-dimensional environment and could be encountering something from a higher dimension where traditional concepts of distance might become irrelevant. He expressed skepticism about probability of being visited by an alien race from a distant planet, emphasizing the vast distance beyond involved. He also questioned the likelihood of an advanced alien race traveling such long distance only to crash upon arrival on Earth. He leaned towards the idea that these phenomena are more likely to be extra-dimensional, existing beyond our usual understanding of dimensions. He explained that various scriptures, including the Bible, describe messengers of God or angels as existing in dimensions beyond our own. While acknowledging the visual evidence and testimony from pilots regarding UFO sightings, Burleson emphasized the most likely explanation in his opinion. He said, "I don't discuss the visual recordings or the testimonies from pilots. I believe they are genuinely witnessing something. There is substantial evidence of these unidentified objects, and although we don't know what they are, I think the most probable explanation might not be what everyone hopes to hear. It could very well be advanced technology under development and research, possibly involving new propulsion technology." And when discussing the topic, I often refer to discovery of the Higgs boson particle about 10 years ago. It illustrates how scientific theories can be transformed into practical functions. Burleson is not the only one suggesting the links between UFOs and religious texts. Representative Tim Burchett claimed in 2021 that UFOs were in the Bible, referring to the book of Ezekiel. And according to Mystery Wire, Burchett talked about UFOs being written about in the Bible, pointing specifically to Ezekiel, referencing Ezekiel 1:4-28, in which there is a description of seeing, quote, an immense cloud with flashing lightning and surrounded by brilliant light. The center of the fire looked like glowing metal, and in the fire was what looked like 4 living creatures. In appearance, their form was human, but each of them had 4 faces and 4 wings, end quote. And it goes on to say, when the living creatures moved, the wheels beside them moved, and when the living creatures rose from the ground, the wheels also rose. Wherever the spirit would go, they would go, and the wheels would rise along with them because the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Now, while Grush publicly discussed theories on UAPs that might originate from the higher order dimensions theorized by physicists, those concepts do not appear in the unclassified version of his complaint. The extradimensional or interdimensional hypothesis also does not appear in what has been made public from Grush's written statement submitted for approval to the Pentagon's Defense Office of Pre-Publication and Security Review. But Grush did talk about his theory when he was under oath, answering questions from Burlinson during a public UAP hearing in July 2023. Burlinson said at the hearing, "It's a bit hard to believe that an alien species advanced enough to travel billions of light years would come here and somehow not be able to survive." And then he asked Grush about the interdimensional potential, saying, "Could you explain that?" And Grush said, "No matter how smart you are, accidents happen, like plane crashes and car crashes. A small percentage of missions may fail, as we say in the Air Force." Talking about multidimensionality, Grush mentioned the holographic principle. It comes from general relativity and quantum mechanics. He explained it as an imaging a 3D object casting a shadow onto a 2D surface. He said, "You can't be projected, sort of projected. You can be from higher dimensional space to lower dimensional space. It's a scientific idea that you can actually come across dimensions, as far as I understand, but there are probably people with PhDs who could argue about that." And there's been some speculation about UFOs being connected to religious visits or interdimensional beings since the early 20th century. The idea became more famous with the book Passport to Magonia, and From Folklore to Flying Saucers by Jacques Vallée, 1969. Vallée later inspired a character in Steven Spielberg's UFO movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He spent years studying ancient texts for his book. And Vallée states that UFOs and related events of a paranormal nature involve visitations from other realities or dimensions. The idea proposes that these alternate realities exist separately yet parallel to our own. In 1975's The Edge of Reality, Vallée and Hynek considered the possibility of what they call interlocking universes. Sheehan disclosed that the government was telepathically interrogating the extraterrestrial biological entity Ebo in custody, despite knowing the bizarre nature of the revelation. Sheehan stood by the credibility of the information, having interviewed individuals directly involved in the process. The Ebo allegedly conveyed that a coalition of star systems in our galaxy monitors the evolution of life on different planets, including our planet Earth. He said Pope Benedict had a formal statement issued by the Catholic Church saying that with the discovery of more exoplanets, it has become clear that we will be discovering life elsewhere in the universe. This prompted the need for a global discussion on the philosophical and theological questions posed by the discovery of extraterrestrial life, Daniel Sheehan said. Since the translation of the Book of Enoch from ancient texts discovered in Ethiopia in 1768, it has created a stir in the history of mankind that has been told for years. The Book of Enoch tells a story of the fallen angels called the Nephilim or Anunnaki. It's attributed to the Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. And it's no wonder why the Book of Enoch was not included in the modern biblical version, since its content speaks of wicked angels who became fond of mortal women and mated with them, giving birth to the hybrid race of giant humanoids known throughout secular and biblical history as the Nephilims. The Nephilims then taught humans great technologies that made us greedy and awful until God destroyed them with a great flood in order to prevent further harm to creation. And this is a massively oversimplified summary, but given these themes, the Book of Enoch has understandably grown in popularity in recent years, of course. And David Grush said, for humanity, Are we alone? Or, what happens when we die? Well, I don't know about that, but are we alone? Well, the answer is we're not alone. And I know that with 100% certainty, which is, as an intel officer, you never say 100%, but all these things point towards, based on the people I talk to, the phenomenon is real. It's been going on for thousands of years. People have been seeing strange things, and not everybody is mass hallucinating. So that's kind of my long diatribe about what is happening. And this is from House and Wise by Vicky Verma. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.